during the whole of the pandemic when certain places were having to close and our industry was classed as like the beauty industry or even classed as massage parlors, which was obviously
Parlours.
very
Parlours.
offensive to us as you know, as a profession that we've trained in.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Massage and Physical Therapist Roundtable Talk Show. It's 2022, so Happy New Year to all of you. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. In the last episode, we were asking our panel, how are we able to last in our profession? So that was a great conversation. If you want to go back and check it out, it is in the playlist below. In each episode, we pick a topic as chosen by you and discuss it from different perspectives within the therapy world. I'm your host, Kate Brown, and on our panel today, we have Imogen Tester, massage therapist. We have Anna Maria Mazzieri, soft tissue therapist. We have Tamer Morsi, massage therapist. Chris Haddon, massage therapist and reflexologist, and Claire King, massage and cranial sacral therapist. So welcome to you all. Thanks for joining this morning. So today we are discussing advice for new therapists or therapists in training. We'll also be asking our panel if they set any New Year's resolutions or goals for the year ahead. So we've got a couple of different things to dive into today. So I think we'll start by asking the question, what advice would you give, or what lessons have you learned that you could pass on to someone just starting out as a therapist, whether they're in training or if they've just newly qualified? So would anyone like to kick off the conversation with that question? Let's pop your hand up. Yeah, Tamar, you go for it.
Okay, so advice for anyone who's starting, who's a new starter in the massage is number one is practice, and number two is practice, and number three is practice. That's the only way to get better in what we're doing is just to keep practicing, and it's just the nature of the job because it's a physical job. Just practice. That's number one. Don't expect to be better, to get better without practice. Don't expect to get better in a very short time. These things take time, and you just need to do your part of it, which is again practice. That's one thing regarding learning. When you are about to learn new modality, I would definitely advise for you to explore your passion before jumping in a course and learn any new modality, basically. There is two types of learning. There is the learning that will help you to make money, and there is the learning that would help you to become who you are. Both of them are, you need to consider both of them. Let's say deep tissue, that's the most popular modality in massage when you start in massage. And no, a lot of clients are asking for deep tissue. So that's a modality that you need to learn straight away once you get qualified, because that's what the market is asking for. However, throughout time, you need to learn to understand your passion. Do you want to go in a remedial path, or do you want to go in a holistic path? And that will dictate what modality you will shape your treatments, will be you in your treatments. Because when you do for a long time, when you do massage for a long time, for 3 years in something that you don't like, it doesn't feel that good, to be honest, and it's not going to be great. However, if you do something that you're passionate about, you'll never think about it as a job. You'll always enjoy it like the very first time. So take your time to explore your passion. Don't jump in learning a lot of courses in short time. Just try to take your time with your practice, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, and invest in your health and well-being, nutrition, sleeping, exercise. That's very important for our job. That's very, very important.
Yeah, I completely agree with those points, and actually they're the same things that I were going to bring up with the practice, completely agree. And I always think that arranging massage swaps are really valuable because you can do that free of charge. If you have, good relationships with other local therapists, so that doesn't need to cost you anything. And I think they're fantastic because you're learning at the same time as you're receiving self-care, which is just, a win-win. Yeah, absolutely sort of looking after yourself, because you are number one, I think, in the scenario. And if you don't look after you, how are you going to look after anybody else? So
100%, 100%. And we'll add to the swap that swapping, because some therapists think that swapping is a waste of time, but receiving a massage and understanding how your clients feel, that's very valuable, very valuable.
Absolutely.
And it's not easy to get this type of learning in a classroom, basically.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Tamer. So shall we pass over to Chris? Chris, can you carry on for us?
I totally agree. Obviously, I think everyone's going to say practice is obviously a main thing, because you can't just train in something and then jump straight into doing it without feeling like you're not sort of on your 100% game. From a business perspective as well, obviously, I know Tamer spoke a lot about the hands-on part of it, but I see a lot of therapists, friends, people that I don't know on forums, this, that and the other, complaining they've just started out and they've got no clients as well, and how am I going to make this work? I've put all my effort, my money, my time into this, and I've got no clients. And all I'd say with that is well, from my experience, is it takes time to build up a reputable sort of business in this field. I don't know anyone really that has set up a business to do massage therapy, reflexology, whatever it might be, and just been full from day one. And I think it's a very realistic thing to know that that's not always going to happen. If you might get lucky, and you might be living in a specific area where you're the only person doing it, or an Instagram influencer's picked up on what you're doing and has put it out there, and for some reason you just get inundated with bookings. But honestly, it just takes time, and I think you've got to just get used to the fact that when you start out, you might only be doing it one day a week at first, because people, the best, we did one of these podcasts on advertising, didn't we? And we said, a lot of it, word of mouth is the best thing. And obviously, the more you do it, the better you get, the better the word spreads around. So best bit of advice I can give is when you're starting out, don't panic and don't think, right, well, I'm no good at this because I'm only getting 4 clients a week. It's like, would you maybe just set a day a week at first, fill your day. If you've got a part-time job, don't sort of swear at the boss, take your top off, spin it around and walk out because you're starting your new job the following day. Just be a bit wise about how you're going to do it, because you might need that that part-time job for a few days a week, just until you manage to be in a position. When I started out, I was working at a recording studio, and I was just doing treatments in the evenings, and gradually built it up into a point where I had an exit plan sort of out of that job. And they were cool with it. I'd spoke to them about it. I'd been there for 10 years. So I cut down to 3 days a week and had 2 full solid days a week of doing treatments. Built that up so I could fill them. Then gradually I knew when it was time to finally let go of that income that I had guaranteed coming in, and know that I could fill pretty much my week. But there'll always be quiet times as well. And if there is, not to get sort of disheartened with it and think that you're no good at it, because it's just like any job, you have your highs and lows of traffic, if you like. So yeah, more business sort of idea from me there, but just
no, that's great advice, and really nice to have reassurance as well, and completely echo what you're saying, because it does take a lot of time to build up your client base, and that can be disheartening at first if you're really quiet and it's not going the way that you thought it would. But yeah, absolutely, it takes time. So yeah, thanks, Chris. That was a really good point. Lovely. Should we pass over to Claire?
Hi. Yes, so just to reiterate, yes, practice, 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 practice. And then also practice, I think, how you feel comfortable trying your best to getting someone to book before they leave that room again. I think that's really important. So just working out your patter, working out, that might sound a little bit ruthless, but just something that feels true to yourself. Excuse me, something that, you know, you don't feel too, I don't know, funny about saying, but, you know, just try your best to get them to book in before they leave that room. So that, you know that you've got that repeat business. And also another thing I would say, to start with, maybe an idea is, you know, either refer a friend or say to them, I will give you 15 minutes extra if you could write me a Google review. They're two good ways of like getting that business, you know, quicker, that repeat business. And yeah, just to reiterate, being patient. And yeah, like Chris said, when I started, I just did it on a Saturday. So I was working my job in the week, and then just, you know, doing that one Saturday until I just thought, oh, now I can cut my job down a little bit. And I just did it, you know, slowly, even though I was desperate just to pack in my job. But yeah, just slow and steady. And yeah, just working out a few business ideas that will bring your customers back. But yeah, definitely trying to get them book in before they leave that room.
Yeah, no, great advice. And sort of just building on what you were saying about practicing conversation, I think that is really important. And it's kind of the same sort of thing, like what do you say when the treatment finishes, you know, and how do you ask certain questions in your consultation? All those sort of conversational practices are actually really important, and the more you get used to them, the more natural it feels and comes across.
Totally. And just a really simple thing like, how does your body feel now compared to how when you arrived? How do your shoulders feel? And everyone will always say, oh, I can move my shoulders, you know, and then you can say, oh, should we book you in again? You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great. Thank you, Claire. Okay, should we pass on to Imogen?
Yeah, agreeing with Chris. You know, sometimes when you start off, I do think there's a perception that it's like an easy business, and that you can just get your qualifications and go, and it's really easy. And not to be a downer, because it's an amazing business and it is wonderful, but it is hard work, and it does take time. And something that I've learned is not to panic when you might have a week that looks a bit quiet, and you suddenly start thinking, oh my God, that's it. Nobody likes me. No one's ever going to come and book in ever again. You know, this wave of panic. But they do. And then before you know it, the phone starts ringing and you're booked out. And I still struggle with that one. Still struggle to believe that it's okay. And you can make the most of those quiet times and take a rest. I suppose thinking of things to add to that would be to set your boundaries well to start with, whether that's with potential employers. So have good conversations with them before you start, so they know where you are and you know what they want, they know what you want, what you're happy to do, what you're not happy to do, whether that's the hours that you work, the amount of clients you see, whether that's certain treatments that you're not so happy doing or prefer to do, or ways of working that you're not so happy doing. I think if that conversation is had to start with, it makes for everybody a better working relationship. With clients, you know, sometimes clients do push you maybe a little bit into doing things that you're not so comfortable with or might be slightly out of your scope, or seeing them. I had a client yesterday who I turned away without treating and referred on, even though they'd come out to see me, which was really unfortunate, but I felt that was a boundary for me, and I'm very glad I did that. Or with yourself, which is the one that I struggle with most. So setting your time boundaries, like, do you know what? I've got home, I am not answering any more messages till tomorrow morning, I'm tired. do what I say, don't do what I do, or taking a break, or self-care, having a massage yourself, like Tamar said, looking after yourself as well as your business. I do tend to be a bit of a workaholic because I genuinely just love my job. But sometimes, yeah, I have to force myself to set my own boundaries and step away a little. And the only other thing I would add is to be yourself. So it doesn't matter how good you are at rubbing people in whatever way you choose to rub them. Clients really come back because they like you and they like how you work with them, how you talk to them, how you listen to them, the relationship you build, especially with more regular clients. And that's sort of almost most important bit. That they'll come to see you because they like you, your whole package of you. So don't try and be somebody else. Be yourself. That would be my other bit of advice.
Lovely, thanks, Imogen. Yeah, just picking up on your points then, the sort of the don't panic thing. I think that is so important. And to be honest, I'm still so guilty of that. If I have a quiet week, I'm like, oh my God, the world is going to end. I'm broke. What's going on? And then and then off your feet for the rest of the year. So yeah, just have to calm down and know that sometimes it will be busy, sometimes it will be a little bit quiet, and that's normal and perfectly okay. And likewise, if the sort of the boundary setting, I think that is really important, and something you can do to help establish your boundaries, but also communicate that with your clients, is to have what I call a client information document. You might call it something different to that, where it just outlines how things work and what to expect and what is okay and what isn't okay. And that can be really helpful for both clients, so they know what to expect when they're coming in, and also that you have kind of set that out to yourself and you know what's going on as well. So great, thanks for sharing that. Anna, would you like to continue that conversation for us?
For me, it's always about the advice that I give to our new students or new therapists is always about keeping it simple, to consolidate what they learned and to consolidate the basics of what we are good at, which is the therapeutic encounter. Students often think, oh, I'm not good enough because I need to take the next course, I need to take the next acupuncture, I need to learn tapping, or I need to learn assessment. Actually, once you're qualified, just really practice the encounter, practice the conversation, practice those soft skills, as well as obviously a massage practice, to be in the room with your client and understanding your client needs, because only through you really understanding the client needs, you get busy. So, and that to me also is about get those fundamentals right. A part of the fundamentals for me to be in business is also business awareness. So often we spend a lot of money once we're qualified to go all to these other courses. Actually, we don't spend enough time to learn about business. And Chris said, something really, really powerful. We are massage therapists. We don't necessarily come in from a business background. So actually, if somebody says, okay, 3 days a week, I dedicate to massage therapy, at the beginning, dedicate 2 days to massage therapy or to your chosen profession, and then 1 day dedicated to business. And if you invest money in a course, invest money into a business course, invest money to know how to run your business, invest money to know how to run a social media, because that at the beginning you might think, oh, I don't have the money, I need to do client. Actually, there is an investment in your future self if you want a sustainable business. Otherwise, you're always going to be catching yourself that, oh my God, I don't have enough clients. And we only realize we don't have enough clients when it's too late. You shouldn't start your marketing when you don't have enough clients. You should know already that in 3 months' time, there is a dip. Like in November, there is always a little bit of a dip. In August, I should be planning for November's dip. So get the basics right within your therapeutic intervention. Sometimes, most of the time, are the soft skills, which we don't put too much emphasis in. Don't overload yourself with too many courses. but invest into your massage business, into business awareness and business and marketing courses.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I completely agree with those points, Anna. And what you were saying about sort of investing in your like marketing and social media skills, there are a lot of resources available for free. Like I'm sure it's national, it's called the Growth Hub. Maybe some of you
They're
are aware of that.
fantastic.
And there are, I'm sure, other similar resources where you can submit your information and you get a certain amount of training for free. So you can actually tap into all these things without spending any money, but completely improving your whole business set. So,
But it requires time, so that we say, oh yes, I'll do that when I finish my day with my clients. No, use it. You start already to allocate working time for that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else have an admin day? Monday for me is my admin day. I just get everything sorted, and then it seeps through the rest of the week as well. But I have
2 days a week.
one day, 2 days. Yeah, 2 days
a week.
Yeah, great.
Compared to a lot of prescription drugs, compared to surgery, compared to those things, we are cheap. But that doesn't mean that we should devalue our services.
The Massage and Physical Therapist talk show is brought to you by Massage Warehouse. Run by therapists for therapists, we're committed to solving common issues you might encounter in your massage therapy practice. Here at Massage Warehouse, we understand how important your massage table is to you and how much you try to keep your table protected. However, accidents can happen. The last thing any therapist wants to see is an unsightly tear, rip, or mark on their table. Not only do these marks look bad, there is a chance that they will grow and cause even more damage to your table. Many therapists think they'll have to replace their entire table. However, we have a solution. Introducing our massage table adhesive repair patches, the simple way to fix tears and prevent further damage to your table. To use the patch, first clean around the area of the tear for any dust or dirt using a dry cloth. Next, peel off the back of the patch. After this, carefully apply the patch over the tear. Finally, smooth around the edges of the repair patch for a perfect application. And your table should be repaired and good to go. Our patches come in 3 different colours: black, navy and cream. We have different size repair patches available, and should you have a uniquely shaped tear on your upholstery, we can create a custom size repair patch for you. Check out our website massagewarehouse.co.uk to see the full range. Now back to the show.
The kind of second part of this conversation then, which was asking whether we set any New Year's resolutions or whether we're planning setting any goals for the year ahead. And if you don't set them at this time of year, is there a time of year that you kind of find as good to review and to make some changes? Does anyone want to start off that part of the conversation? Just again, pop your hand up if you do. Thanks, Emmy. You go.
Only because it's quite quick. No, I don't have any New Year's resolutions. Especially the last couple of years, it's hard to plan because you don't know what's going to happen. I have a direction though. I do have a direction, and I have areas in my business that I know could be improved, and that's where I focus on. So not just sort of randomly picking things out that I want to do, but yeah, I'd have a direction and areas that I could definitely improve on, and that's where I try and focus things. When it happens will sort of sometimes depend on when I've got time, or when there's a particular subject that interests me that I can go on that course, but yeah, I don't have a set resolution because I'm rubbish at keeping them. But yeah, direction, absolutely, without a doubt. I don't just randomly pick courses anymore. I used to. I absolutely hold my hands up. I'm used to follow the shiny things, and now I do try and specifically pick things, and they're more knowledge-based things and less modalities. Now I want to improve my knowledge on certain things, and look to where my weakness. I've got weaknesses in my practice, and I will look to improve those particular weaknesses and be honest with myself at where my strong points don't lie, and that's where I have things. So that's, you know.
Thanks, Simi. That's great. Anyone else want to continue that conversation? Yeah, Chris. Thank you.
I think with the whole New Year's resolution thing and the goals thing, obviously it's different for everyone, and you know, a lot of people's goals will be to get more work, unless you're ultra full, and then your New Year's resolution might be to work less, which I guess is the ultimate dream, you know, for everyone. But for me, it's always a personal thing, so it's not about the business as such, because obviously I feel if you invest in yourself, your business will grow as much or as you know, or quite enough if you need it to, as much as you want. So for me, it's always it just gives me a bit of a kick up the bum just to finish reading up on things that have been sort of started but kind of put to one side as I've been busy doing other things, or you know, things I wanna invest more in. So for instance, for me with reflexology, I'm constantly learning new things, and I'm sort of, my reflexology practice is changing all the time, depending on whether I'm working with vulnerable clients in care homes, or if I'm working with clients that you know, have just had a newborn baby. You know, there's so many different things. So I think I feel your business will, you know, your client base, your treatments will get better the more you invest in yourself. Even if that is self-care, like say arranging swaps, or putting £50 a month aside to treat yourself, to go in to have a treatment yourself, and being able to have the joy of knowing that you've earned that £50 a month that you've put aside, and that's a part of your sort of personal growth package, if you like. You know, call it what you like. For the tax man, I don't know, but you know, it's just investing in yourself. I think is the best thing you can do, and everything will grow from that point onwards.
Marvellous. Thank you, Chris. Claire, would you like to carry on from there?
Again, I don't have any resolutions or anything like that. I guess my goal this year is just, I'm more of a, I do something, I decide I'm going to do something, and then I just kind of sit back and see what happens. I don't know whether that's the right thing to do always, but that's how I kind of work. I may assess that this year. So, I mean, my focus at the moment is my affordable clinic that I'm just about to set up in February. So that's all starting and happening. And I keep thinking about it, like, should I do this? Should I do this? But then again, I'm just going to get in there and I'm going to see how it evolves, see what happens. If there's a particular niche that comes from that, whether it be because I'm only doing craniosacral work there, not massage, so whether it be mums and babies, I'm just going to see how that evolves. Business-wise, I normally look at things, excuse me, business-wise, I normally look at things around the summer when I've got a bit more time. Generally in January, because I have all my clients, but my regular clients, I have everyone like booked in until March now. So I kind of just keep on going, and then I get to the summer, then I have a bit of a review and just see maybe where I want to go. But yeah, I'm a bit more of a, rather than a planner, I'm more of a sit back and watch what happens.
Great, thank you, Claire. Yeah, we all have our own methods of doing things, so lovely. Anna Maria, would you like to mention anything?
Yeah, again, like everybody said, there are no resolutions per se, but there is a lot of planning the end of the year and beginning of the year, and I love it because it's so refreshing. So I usually, the way I like to plan things is personally, where is my growth? Where do I want to grow as a professional, personal growth? And then I match that with the business planning, because the two for me really, really link. I try to make them link as much as possible. And I do 3, 6, 9, and 12 months. And every 3 months, then I have a little bit of a review. Ever match that as the situation change. I'm quite dynamic, so I change according to the situation. So you know, it's really, really embraced by the changes are embraced by. I'm linked with the business, and for me, this year is going to be very much personal growth from a psychologically informed practice, and there are few projects in line, you know, that I'm working on. But I always give myself a 3 months, because if for those 3 months actually that didn't work, that my time was not properly spent, I move on. I don't rest on things that don't work. I don't try. I might be, I say myself, that was a wrong choice. Let's move on.
Yeah, and that's it. We can't always get it right. Sometimes we try things and they're, you know, they don't quite pan out as we thought, and that's fine. That's to move on and leave it. I think that you're probably the most organised out of all of us, so it'd be great to take a little leaf out of your book.
Do you know what? I am not. I mean, you wouldn't believe how disorganized I am. However, the planning can be just in your head. To me, just give, I don't know if anybody has read, we spoke about it previously, Atomic Habits, or Tiny Habits and Atomic Habits. They are fantastic books and shows how behavior change can happen by having very small goals. You are your habits. We are our habits, but we can change those habits by giving ourselves a small goal. That's why I say 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. And don't feel too bad about having to change.
So what was that title? Atomic?
There are 2 books. Both of them are quite related. One is called Atomic Habits.
Okay.
And the other one is called Tiny Habits. One of the 2 is from James Clear. Oh, I could not recommend it more. In fact, I recommend it to read, because it really helped me to work with behavior change for our clients. You know, when sometimes we struggle to help them adhere to a program or to change some of their lifestyle habits. And these books are fantastic.
Great, thank you very much.
Most welcome.
Tamar, do you have anything to add to that?
The New Year's resolution, it's just, to be honest, echoing everyone. The New Year's resolution, it's an approach that would work for someone that doesn't work for someone else. It's all about, just again, echoing Anna about that, it's all about the habits of keep working. Setting goals and not being able to achieve the goals is something very normal, and it shouldn't cause any disappointment, because this disappointment, that takes a lot of energy. And at the same time, as Claire mentioned, once you set your mind of doing something, and just all your actions will go towards this thing that you want to achieve, whether you do it intentionally or unintentionally. So it's whatever works for you, as long as you're persistent about what you're doing, as long as there is consistency in the action, it will happen. For me, I come from a place where everything was planned for the next 5 years. And I tried to apply this planning, and it didn't work at all, because the model works for an organization that is already established and got a lot of data. In our work, there is not enough data to plan for anything. However, planning is good, but the way that I found that it works better is just jump head first. Try. If it doesn't work, either don't change the direction. The direction must be consistent, but change the actions that you do. And at the same time, there are some opportunities that pop up on the way that are unexpected. So don't be very static about it, that no, that I can't take this opportunity because it's not what I planned for. Just focus whether it's aligned with your direction or not. If it is, why not? If you have time, why not? If you don't have time, learn how to say no. So that's the dynamic element, is very important, to be very fluid in how the business is going. To be honest, with Massage Hub, for instance, I was planning to offer anatomy videos and videos about business growth for 12 months. I was planning to do it last year. It happened last December, basically, last month. So I had the plan. It didn't happen for 12 months. And then I've done a collaboration with one of the schools, and just there is a whole videos about fascia, the facial system, basically 3 whole hours about fascia, and a lot of videos about essential knowledge for new therapists, basically. Did I get disappointed? Of course, yes, I did get disappointed at one point that I didn't achieve it, but okay, what can I do about it? Nothing. Move on. Just keep trying.
Yeah, I think that's it. You know, you've got to keep trying things, and it's natural to be disheartened when it doesn't work out the first time. But you know, you just have to look forward and maybe just evolve the idea. You don't necessarily have to drop it all together, but just make some changes and see if that works.
Very true. And being disappointed and going through the feeling of the disappointment, that's healthy, because that's a good thing to do. It's just, don't let it put you down. Don't let it just push you back, or just keep you disappointed for the following 6 months, for instance. Just absolutely. Let it go through you.
Yeah. No, great.
Just moving away from the sun, very unexpected. Oh, yeah, had to be done.
Great, thank you all. Yeah, and I also don't really set New Year's resolutions, just because I will usually not follow through on them. But I do just find naturally after a period of rest, so whether I've taken like a week out on holiday or whatever that period of rest is, I do just naturally get distance on everything and find that that's a really healthy time for me to review what's going on, and not in a really clinical sense where I'm really focused on reviewing it, but I just get a sense of clarity and distance where, you know, my mind feels clear. And yeah, I almost always come out with something quite productive afterwards. So whether that's like improving on some of my systems or making something more efficient, or just have a, you know, bright new idea for the future. But I think that always just comes after a rest period, which doesn't come that often. But after Christmas, I took a week off, and I have to say I feel much better for it, and a sense of clarity moving forward. So yeah, for me, rest is an important catalyst for change and development. Our last question that we're going to ask was just hopes for the industry looking forward. This potentially is actually quite a big question and quite a big topic, so we'll just keep it short for now so that we don't go on for too long. Would anyone like to just make a start on that one and tell us a bit about what you'd like to see for the industry going forwards? Yeah, lovely.
Just for the industry to be regulated, to be able to offer massage as part of the NHS services, and pricing, not to see a very big gap in pricing in one area.
Yeah, I saw a post on Facebook.
Grace.
From Grace, yes. Hi,
crazy.
Grace, if you're listening.
Yes.
But it was an interesting topic of conversation, because prices do vary wildly, and it's very difficult to pick a price point because of that. So yeah, that's an interesting conversation to have. Yeah, thanks, Tamar. Thank you, Anna. Would you like to say a few words about this?
To me, the really important. Really important step that the industry needs to make is consistency within training, so that we know that everybody that is trained in massage therapy will have gone through the same similar syllabus. And the other one, which if we work with people in pain and in with injuries, has to be an evidence-based practice. If we want to be accepted within a healthcare framework, no healthcare practitioners practice without evidence-based practice. So, and if we cannot follow evidence or we cannot implement evidence-based practice, then we cannot be working within healthcare system. That is something, the two are linked. That is linked to have better, equal, consistent. I don't mind, I don't need to be regulated. The regulation is not something that interests me, because you know, I speak very often with osteopaths and chiropractors, and the regulation is not always been beneficial to their profession. Definitely, we need to be better voluntarily regulated, and it is not happening. But once the training become consistent between the training providers, between the qualifications, evidence-based practice is put in, then we can really move forward as a profession. At the moment, we are not.
Yeah, really good point. Some sort of national standard, which
Absolutely.
is, you know, of a good standard, would be fantastic.
Yeah, national standard that includes evidence-based practice. You know, you cannot believe that in our profession, where we all treat pain and injury, evidence-based practice is not part of qualifications. I mean, it's just. Is
that due to lack of funding for studies to take place?
No, you don't have to have studies to take place in massage therapy. Is just when you work with pain and injury, the study that are already there with pain and injuries, that knowledge is not filtered into clinical practice. So, like, for example, you know, people come to you with hip pain. What is the best evidence out there telling us? What is evidence telling us is the best approach? Then together with our clinical practice, together with the client needs, then we can critically evaluate the approach to give. But no training courses provide the evidence view. So they just say, okay, we treat this or we do that. Actually, how do we know that works? Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, completely agree with you. Okay, thank you, Anna. Chris, did you want to add anything there?
I guess it all just ties in together with what everyone's saying, but just like I think the pandemic shown that the industry as a whole needs to be more recognised. You know, there was when different places were being closed down early due to the coronavirus. You know, we were grouped in as massage parlours, as beauty therapists, as all these different things. And at the time, there was only the APT? I can't even, I'm getting my letters mixed up. The APTN. What was it? What was it called?
APNT, was it?
APNT. Yeah.
I think they've since closed down now. Is that right?
Well, they have, but I joined them. I joined them at the time because they seemed to be the only place that were sort of fighting for what felt like we're fighting for our industry on a government sort of level, and because I was with the FHT before that, and I didn't really get anything from them at all throughout, really. But obviously they've since closed down, which is annoying because I'd just joined, and I didn't even get my refund actually, funnily enough, from paying to join for the year. But that's a different matter. I'm back with the FHT now, but yeah, I think it just needs to be recognised. I think what we do is really important, and it needs to sort of have a people need to know that. And what with Tamer saying, you know, there's so much we could do that could take the strain off doctors' waiting lists and stuff for specific ailments that don't necessarily need medication, and the doctors know that. You know, I'm not trying to say, obviously there's a science to everything, and I'm not trying to belittle that in any way, but there's, you know, doctors would be able to forward people onto us for deep tissue massage or for some reflexology, whatever it might be that they feel, and that would be a massive step forward for our industry if we can sort of link them ties together.
Particularly for stress related things as well. You know, stress, it comes you know, covers a huge broad amount of sort of secondary things that come off of it, and you know, we know that just by having a nice relaxing experience, you are sort of helping to switch off all of those damaging forgotten my words, sort of, am I saying hormones, or Anna, you'll correct me here.
Yeah, you
Chemicals.
down-regulate the nervous system anyway, so that's really positive. But Kate, if I can say that, I couldn't agree more, because, and I think we are getting there. I think we are getting there from that perspective of the awareness of it, even from the GP. But how can the GP and NHS refer to us with sometimes what we say with our words, it's actually not what current evidence is telling us. So that's why we need everybody to be on the same plane, because we're all here on the same wavelength, say, we know that this works. The reason why it works, I think we're all a little bit a different understanding, and that's, we need to level that up. But I think we're going to, I'm so positive about our industry. I think we are definitely going towards better place in healthcare.
Yeah, I think that the pandemic has shone a light on that, and kind of we all want to have better recognition and validation and improve standards as a whole. So I think that's a positive step. Yeah. Claire, would you like to mention anything?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just found it quite a difficult question, because everything I thought of is quite huge, like everything that we've, spoken about so far. But, also everything, everything was highlighted in the pandemic about, us being massage parlors and just what the heck was going on. But something that I've just thought about as well, I've been thinking about a lot, is that actually the one of the most awful things from this pandemic will be mental health, people's mental health. And imagine if you could have these little pop-up centres where you just went in and you got a shoulder massage and you got to lie down on a bed for half an hour and someone was really kind to you. I know I'm in a fantasy world here, but I'm just in, in terms of mental health and how much that's going to cost the government, I imagine that those centres were everywhere and people could just go and take solace, just putting it out there.
Yeah, that's a lovely idea, like a solidarity shelter. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, it's a lovely idea.
Because when I was thinking of this, I just found it really hard because everything felt so out of reach. But
right. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, mental health has definitely been a hot topic through the pandemic and was even before that. So making resources better available to people that don't cost the earth or don't, include having medications, then, surely that is a positive thing to offer.
One of the things we know from evidence, one of the really things we know, that massage is effective for anxiety. It has very positive effect for depression and anxiety. So we can actually approach our surgeries and say, we are here, we can help.
Right, amazing. Do you have any studies that you can share?
Yes. I mean,
we can link that below or something. Yeah,
we can share them. But if people go and look at Christopher Moyer, he's done a fantastic review on all evidence. Or if you look, guys, at painscience.com. It's amazing because it's all well referenced and it's an immense site. But I can send you some references for sure.
That would be great. Yeah, we can pop that in the description, I'm sure. Amy, did you want to finish with any final words there?
I need to agree with everything that Anna said, which is what I was going to say. I think we want to be recognised, but because of that, we need to demand from our educators and from our my words have gone now today, our bodies, our governing bodies. We need to demand that from them. We need to ask them to step up. Otherwise, we are doing what we've always done, which is with good faith, buying a course or trying to improve ourselves and thinking, well, this course is recognised, it's accredited, it must be absolutely okay. So take my money, sign me up. I think I'm doing the right thing, but it's not up to date. It's not evidence-based. And we are being duped, and then our clients, because of that, are then being duped. So I absolutely agree that we all want to be more recognised, but we need we need to deserve that recognition, and we need to, and I don't think things will change until we demand from our educators. And it is going, it's getting better. It is going the right way. There are educators out there starting to do it, and people are starting to talk about it, which actually has helped during lockdown, because there were podcasts so many, and people started talking to each other across the world online. I'm showing my age. I can't think of the right words to say about social media on the interweb.
On the World Wide Web.
Interweb, as my mother would say, yeah. So there were more conversations were being had. So I think it is getting there, but it's not there yet. And then agreeing absolutely with what Claire said, that one of the way we're so focused on, I hate this word, fixing people physically, but actually one of the most amazing things, and one of the most amazing ways we contribute to people's health is just by being there to sort of metaphorically give them a hug, to listen to them, to give them time, like you say, half an hour where you're focused on them. Tell me about it. Oh my goodness, I listen to them, validate them, cheerlead for them, help them, signpost them.
The word that Claire used is solace. I love the word.
Lovely, yeah.
It gives you that comfort, the idea, isn't it? It's fabulous.
And it's something so simple, but it's what we are amazing at. And that is one of the greatest strengths that we can do, that we don't recognize ourselves, I don't think, enough. So yeah, that as well. That's all I had to add. Yeah. And when we say value and cheap, it doesn't mean we should sort of, almost going back a little, I think Tamar said, that it doesn't mean that we should devalue our services, but compared to a lot of prescription drugs, compared to surgery, compared to those things, we are cheap. But that doesn't mean that we should devalue our services, offering, by constantly undercutting each other. We should hold our value, but compared to a lot of other interventions, we are better value, and with less what's the word I'm looking for, side effects of things that mean, like surgery and drugs.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, guys, thanks for this conversation. So we've covered quite a few topics today. Hopefully that was an interesting conversation for you all to follow as well. And feel free to put any comments below and continue the conversation. If you'd like to be alerted to when the next episode goes live, just hit the subscribe button below or sign up to our newsletter, which is also in the description below. So thanks, guys, for joining us again. We'll see you next month, and have a great start to 2022. Bye.